I'm changing, don't look!
Today is once again gonna be a bit different. Today I am just going to talk. I'm just gonna talk to you. I'm gonna grab a drink and I'm gonna talk. I wrote an essay about change, my feelings on change, and just change entirely. So if you don't mind, I want to talk about change. Change is something that I want to speak about, the aspect of change. What is it? Change could be labeled as the process of becoming something different. The time that is taken for certain routines and aspects of your life to transition into a different feeling. Something that is adjusting and altering by the day. It goes from one condition to another, a phase 1 to a phase 2. If I could define change in a personal yet lacking vocabulary manner, it would be the act of feeling things differently and having time to show a different light than the one you're currently looking at. The way the light reflects on the puddle isn't exactly the same as it was yesterday. From the way you chase your career versus how you style your hair, change can come in many different forms. Change is something I've been experiencing a lot as of late. My life and daily movement in comparison to a month ago is nowhere near the same shade. I don't eat the same, I'm sleeping differently, I work differently, I'm not talking to the same people. Even my whole house has changed. Me on January 9th is not the same me on February 9th. My biggest life changes were switches in employment, environment, and the people I was surrounding myself with. Those three bridges have changed my life almost entirely. Now, I believe who you surround yourself with, or alternatively what you do, can create the entire narrative of your days and your environment. In the past 2 weeks, I turned 21 and got new roommates. While that's a true slice of life chapter on the piece of paper, it has become detrimental to almost every aspect of my day. Does that make sense? It comes off as dramatic, but hear me out. My days have switched almost entirely. Everything feels different. And it's a transitionary period that I'm sleeping into and have to learn how to adjust to, because nothing I'm used to is even the same. The month of January served to me as an awakening for change, making me want to truly define that word down to its smallest mark. Let's look at my personal change and change period on a smaller scale. The things I described that I'm experiencing could be considered immense, or it could be considered minuscule, depending on who it is. But routine and what environment you're used to are things that can impact you in the biggest of ways. For example, two things that have thrown me for a loop are the format of my kitchen and the time the sun has been setting. One thing is impacted by my personal changes in life, and the other is impacted by the passing of time. They're both representative of change, for good or for worse. Say you're a student who's about to graduate, or somebody changing career paths. Perhaps you're taking the scary next step in a relationship. You could even be welcoming new taste into your food palette. All of these are examples of change. Any of the above could be overwhelming for somebody depending on who they are. And the amount of change I've been experiencing has been overbearing, because so much has been happening at once. And when this amount of change occurs in life, it scares me. So when I started feeling scared of how much was changing, it made me reminisce on before. Reminisce on the stages of my life that I took previously and where I am, or how I got here. And honestly, that made me realize even more. It was like I was manifesting a horror narrative for myself. Reminisced about community college and the time that I was a part of a choir ensemble. I noticed how every single aspect of my life has changed since then. I don't style my hair the same, I don't dress the same, I don't love the same albums, I don't trust the same people, I don't live there, I graduated, I drive a different commute, and almost every single aspect of my life has changed since then. And I can promise you that my train of thought is nothing alike. I can't even remember what I'd wake up and worry about then, because now it isn't me. I'm not him. I've changed. Yet, I still love the same creativity, and I wear the same kind of earrings. So although everything has changed drastically, there are still fragments that prove I'm the same person at the core. Still, everything has changed, and that wasn't a decade ago. It was 2023. So much can change, and you might not even notice it until you look back. Which can be scary, because change can be, well, to put it bluntly, fucking terrifying. Not knowing what could happen or seeing how things pale in comparison is a scary thought, because we can't fight change. It comes whether you ask it or berate it. And one of the first horrors that I hear the most is that change is scary because it's unexpected. You fear what you can't predict. You fear what you don't know. Unless you're someone who finds the unknown exciting, then, well, But fearing what you don't know will change is part of what makes change so terrifying. Sometimes you don't know the smallest things that'll become different after having consistency in something you're so used to, and that's number 2. Consistency and comfortability. Being used to the way something is might bring you comfort. It might make you feel safe. Having a cycle and something that goes the way it's supposed to and the way you're used to gets you into an individual routine, and you might not want it broken, which is understandable. And when that cycle totally gets smashed with change, this could be the format of your clothes, or your schedule, or your love. It's all change. That routine, that schedule you previously had is now no longer what it was. For me, the biggest fear of change is the unknown. I'm the kind of person that finds safety within predictability. So having things go the way they aren't expected always throws me through a loop. I love schedules. I need to know what exactly is happening and how it's gonna go. If that isn't the case, I may not function the way I'm supposed to in those scenarios. Today's lunch or the entire move, all of it is change. But if I know exactly what's gonna happen and how it'll be, well, I won't worry so bad. I won't fear the differences as much. Now, the unexpected and consistency can go together. Knowing how something is going to go because of your routine, and the routine brings you comfort, you then can get hit with the unexpected. But don't confuse consistency with being complacent. I like stability. I like things going the way they're supposed to. It doesn't mean I'm complacent, but I do like to know what, where, when, and why. So change is scary. I don't think that's anything new. It's scary to me, and it might be scary to you. There are many reasons why things shifting may affect you in a negative light. We fear what we don't understand. And I've experienced this plenty my entire life, especially lately where everything is so different. The same goes for when I got nostalgic, and I wanted to reminisce about an older time. My entire life not being the same and who I was terrifying. A lot of the time we don't even notice change until it's gone, or until it happens. And it happened to me. So whether it be the shocking realization that things may have shifted, the change in your routine, or the fear of the unknown, I totally get it. I mean, I thought I had everything figured out and thought I knew who I was 6 months ago. Hell, I even thought that 5 months ago, the way my life was going. Every month that goes by, I realize more and more that change is in real time. Change is in every moment you don't know. But that might be a good thing. Because change is scary, but so is staying the same. Or at least, it could be. Which is why it's important to learn the process of accepting change. Accepting change can be an important step. It's something that I'm actively learning how to do as I say this, and it's something I think every individual has to learn throughout their lifetime. One of the strongest attributes that we have as people is our ability to adapt. Adapting to certain environments and adapting to change is what empowers us to such a level. Every person has lived many different lifestyles and tried many different things. You had to adapt and get used to that in the first place. Hell, when we start out, we can't even walk. We adapt, we learn, we grow. Not only this, but change can bring an abundance of new experiences. Change can be the foundation of how we grow. We can't grow if we always stay the same, right? One thing that's brought me a lighter heart in recent times is the knowledge that I'll be experiencing new things. I'll have different conversations on new nights that I hadn't even predicted before. So sometimes predictability isn't everything. If things don't change, if we don't dive into the new, how else are we supposed to grow? The possibility of becoming stagnated can occur if we don't, well, change. If I were to lessen my optimism, part of the reason why we accept change, or why I accept change, is because we kind of have to. We can't stop it. It always comes like the big guy in the red costume on that one day in December. Change will keep coming at every page in your book, and sometimes it's better to swim with the tide instead of trying to quickly flatten your arms away from the current. I used to think of this as like letting go of hope, like accepting a bad punishment. But truly, I don't think it has to be that way. I don't. If you breathe, hold on, and take into account how you've done this kind of thing before, then perhaps you can do it again. In my own tales, I'm actively accepting change by tackling it day by day. I'm seeing how things are going and how I can adjust to my own level and exactly how much is happening at once. As I told you, I have a lot going on, and while I'm not tackling it the best, I'm certainly breathing day by day and seeing how I fit into this new pair of boots, because previously, I thought I couldn't. So to add on to points of acceptance, I want to talk about a movie that has deeply moved me, and that movie is Flow. Now, reckon. I may be getting off topic, but this is my personal essay, so if you don't like that, you can file a complaint with my manager, whom is also me. Flow is a movie about a solitary cat who is displaced after a great apocalyptic type flood, dispersing him away from his land that teaches him how to trust others and adapt to the new circumstances that he's given. In the beginning, he's comfortable, living in the grasslands with supposedly a sculptor, until the unexpected occurs, leaving him stranded, scared, and confused. He's reluctant to other animals, unwilling to be their friend and accepting their help. Except as the movie goes by, he slowly learns to love others, to love the ones that are helping him, and he becomes willing to let them in. Trust and love weren't traits that he had before, but his circumstances, and his arms being open, allowed him to learn them. Every animal in this movie, from the bird to the dog to the cat, defies their blood family or the pack that they've had for their entire lives, in exchange to be themselves and follow their own heart. Rather lost in the flood or not, each species is learning a valuable lesson in being selfless and how to love what was previously deemed unlovable. The traits that were learned by each member of the newfound family is what helps them to survive the flood, to survive the circumstances that they couldn't expect previously, and in this world it was truly life or death. They found a family where they before found a foe, and found life where each member didn't think they would stick around. It's an astonishingly immersive film about survival and the lesson of trust. And in the case here, it's a big case of change. Not only does the world of Flow change with the Great Flood that doesn't stop, each animal in Flow changes in almost every aspect of their character. And the change in every character's heart is the exact change that helps them survive and learn the unexpected. The change in every character's heart is the exact change that helps them survive and learn the unexpected one that happens in their world. This movie intended this point. For the beginning, before the flood occurred, the cat looks into a puddle staring at his reflection. And at the end, when everything is over and they have survived, along with his found family, he stares at his reflection in that puddle. Well, in a puddle. And in the end, when all is over and they have survived, along with his found family, he stares at his reflection in a puddle once again. It isn't the same land. It isn't the same land, the same puddle, or water. And it is neither the same animal that they once were. Flow represents change, and, well, it's also a gorgeous animated film, so there's a plus, too. I believe a lot of things can represent change. A lot of aspects of our life change every day without us even noticing. While we do have a lot to fear, like the shattering of our peace or the brewing of the unknown, I truly believe there's a light in the darkness. Because change has brought a lot of peace, and new ways to live, and I think that could be an open standpoint. Sometimes it's okay to accept, breathe, and adapt to the best of your ability. There could be no better effort than knowing you did your best to do so. My life has changed a lot, and while it can scare me, I'm truly doing my best to push through these things. And one day, I'm gonna watch this video and realize how much I've changed since this date. And honestly, I can't wait to see it.